Hey, let's take it higher. God told me to tell you, child, don't worry, keep it moving. If they walk out and you lose them, you just know that heaven still has.
What's the best way to introduce someone who has so much charisma, genuine kindness, and a supporter of all things dope? She's the host of one of the hottest radio shows around. She's our PR guru and our go-to person for everything hip-hop. Affectionately known as CB Radio, she's my boo, Carla Brown.
I like to say when I'm talking to people about my faith and my story, that it's kind of I'm in a new chapter, I guess, in comparison to when I was younger. I actually gave my life to Christ and was baptized at 6 years old. Was going to church every Sunday, sang in the choir, taught Sunday schools on the youth ministry. I did a lot. But I think that was kind of more so me learning about God through other people's eyes, kind of knowing what the Bible said, kind of knowing what I was taught and what I was told, which is fine. But I kind of felt like I never really had those experiences where I hear people give their testimonies in church, how they overcame some, great tragedy. Because like I said, my life, for the most part, had been without incident. So about a few years ago, I kind of like to say when my 30s hit, I kind of started going through things unbeknownst to other people, really, that were testing my faith. It really caused me to have to be able to call on God to be able to get through those things. And I had never really been put in that position before, starting with a crippling injury as a lower back injury. That I went through. I had to go through physical therapy to get through that. And it actually made the simplest task in life really, really difficult. And a lot of people didn't even know I was going through that. And I did need God. I was living in the city by that time in a studio by myself. Tying my shoes was difficult. Taking the trash out was difficult. I couldn't lay down or sit down for long periods at a time. So that was kind of like my first experience of having to say, okay, God, I'm going to need you, because, I didn't want to worry my parents. I didn't want to, have burden down my friends with having to come over and check on me or take me grocery shopping. So that was kind of the first one. Following that, I lost my job at one point, wrongfully so, I would like to say, and without, throwing them under the bus or telling that whole story, because I consider it a blessing. I kind of felt leading up to that point, God had been telling me that it was time to move on. But I was at a job that was really comfortable to me. I was able to walk to and from work in 10 minutes. I came home on lunch. They paid for my gym membership. It was a really nice, comfortable place to be in. And I had been in the legal field for about 10 years or so since I finished undergrad. So I really had no motivation to go, but my motivation should have been that God was telling me to go. And I find that what happens is that when you don't go and God tells you to go, he makes it so you have to go. And that's what I kind of look at that experience being. But never having really lost a job like that before, or being on my own at this point. I was living downtown in a high-rise apartment, so you can imagine what the rent was like. I'm okay, God, what is this about? How I'm gonna, make ends meet? How am I paying my bills? How am I paying my rent? So of course, worst came to worst, and I was forced out of my apartment. And I had to go and move in with a couple of friends that were, nice enough to allow me to come and stay with them for a while. So it kind of seemed like the 30s were the time of my life where I'm now learning to trust God and know God for myself, and not just based on what other people had told me God is or what he does. It became a point in my life where I'm really saying, if I'm going to make it through this, it's going to be with God. What I found to help me the most during those times was because I was so dependent on God. I had to remember that God will never leave me nor forsake me, that I've never seen the righteous forsaken or begging bread. Whenever I needed somewhere to sleep, wherever, I needed something to eat, God always provided, no matter what my situation was. And I kind of now know for myself, instead of what other people tell me, that God is that provider. God does make a way, even when you can't see where that way is coming from or where your help is coming from. And I think that above any other time in my life, I think my faith is the strongest. I think it's unshaken at this point. I'm still, I haven't reached, my full potential as of yet. I'm still, going on that journey, which I think will continue. But because of that, you know, my faith has been strengthened in God. And I know that he's always going to be there for me.
Rain